The coming wave of transformative anti-aging therapies will force regulators around the world to innovate at a pace rarely seen in medicine, giving rise to entirely new frameworks for assessing, approving, and monitoring interventions that don't neatly fit traditional categories of disease treatment or prevention. Unlike therapies aimed at discrete illnesses like cancer or heart failure, aging is a complex, gradual process affecting every tissue and organ, raising profound questions about what constitutes a legitimate indication, how to measure efficacy, and how to ensure safety across diverse populations. At the heart of this regulatory evolution will be the need to redefine endpoints. Existing drug approval systems rely on clear, disease-specific outcomes, like tumor shrinkage in oncology or reduced heart attacks in cardiology. But anti-aging therapies promise to modify fundamental biological processes, aiming to extend health span by delaying or reversing multiple age-related conditions simultaneously. This will necessitate recognizing biomarkers of biological aging, such as DNA methylation clocks, proteomic or metabolomic signatures, telomere length, or composite frailty indices, as acceptable surrogate endpoints for clinical trials. Without this shift, developers of longevity interventions could face prohibitively long and expensive studies waiting for enough cases of disease or death to prove benefit. Major agencies such as the FDA, EMA, and PMDA will therefore grapple with how to validate and standardize these biomarkers. Expect collaborative efforts with academic groups, industry consortia, and international bodies like the WHO to define which markers reliably predict meaningful health outcomes. Much as HbA1c became the standard surrogate for diabetes or cholesterol for cardiovascular risk, aging regulators will need to establish consensus markers of biological age that can guide approvals, reimbursement, and clinical practice. Parallel to endpoints, new categories of regulatory designation will likely emerge. Therapies explicitly targeting aging or age reversal don't fall under any current therapeutic class. Agencies may create an aging-modifying therapy (AMT) classification, with tailored guidelines on trial design, safety monitoring, and periodic reassessment, similar to existing frameworks for orphan diseases or pediatric populations. Such categories could allow regulators to approve interventions that act broadly on aging processes, while requiring long-term real-world evidence collection to confirm safety and benefit across multiple age-related diseases. Periodic rejuvenation treatments, a concept akin to annual vaccines or routine boosters, could also get formalized pathways. If senolytics or partial epigenetic reprogramming therapies show benefit with regular administration, regulators may need to set standards for maintenance aging interventions, including frequency, cumulative dose safety, and age-specific recommendations. These would sit somewhere between chronic medications and preventive vaccinations, requiring fresh thinking about approval and post-market surveillance. Expect regulatory divisions or centers dedicated specifically to geroscience, similar to how the FDA created the Office of Pediatric Therapeutics or the Orphan Products Development Office. These new entities would specialize in evaluating the unique risks and benefits of interventions in older populations, considering variables like polypharmacy, frailty, cognitive impairment, and heterogeneous biological aging rates, factors often poorly represented in traditional drug trials. Marketing claims will come under heightened scrutiny as well. To prevent hype from outpacing science, regulators will likely issue guidance on what constitutes a substantiated anti-aging claim versus misleading advertising. Companies selling longevity products may have to present rigorous biomarker or outcomes data to justify labels like slows aging or extends health span, moving beyond the looser standards often applied to supplements and cosmetics. Failure to comply could lead to fines, forced label changes, or product bans, setting new precedents for an industry long plagued by exaggerated claims. Countries with proactive regulators such as Singapore, Japan, or some EU states may pioneer these frameworks first, creating longevity regulatory sandboxes that allow companies to test and validate new interventions under close oversight. These early examples will shape global standards as slower-moving agencies adapt best practices for approving therapies that challenge traditional boundaries between disease treatment, prevention, and enhancement. Ultimately, as breakthroughs in senolytics, reprogramming, and gene therapies continue to emerge, regulators will face intense pressure to keep pace, balancing the urgency of unmet needs for age-related diseases against the ethical imperative to ensure safety, efficacy, and equitable access. The success of this regulatory modernization will determine whether longevity medicine remains an exclusive luxury or becomes a trusted, widely accessible pillar of 21st century healthcare. By embracing new categories, validating aging biomarkers, and creating specialized pathways for periodic or preventive interventions, regulators can transform the promise of anti-aging science into a safe, effective reality, one that benefits not just the few, but society as a whole.